I want to talk to you about business funding with no income. Okay, so if you're a startup or you are, let's say, you've been in business for a while now and you have no income and you're trying to get funded, it's important to understand that the process that you have to go through is totally different. Okay, you don't have to actually go the same way as somebody who has a business that generates revenue or has, let's say, all kinds of assets, all kinds of collateral on the side. So let me give you an overview here. When you think about business funding, no income, you got to first pay attention that you have to first pay attention to the types of loans you're going after. Don't go for any loan or every loan. Okay, you got to really pay attention to micro loans, for instance, equipment financing, invoice financing, invoice factoring, but also business credit cards. Maybe what you want is actually a credit card, not a loan. Okay, so it's important if you're looking for business funding, no income. Pay attention to the loans that you want to go after. So, for instance, micro loans usually they are smaller loans, and the maximum you can get is $50,000. Now, the cool thing is because they are small, they're small, relatively small. Lenders are lenders might be willing to approve you even if you have no income, right? Because we're not speaking about six digits. We're not speaking about a huge amount. 50 grand in the context of business operations, it's not really that big, okay? So that's kind of cool. And microloans are usually more like they're usually adaptable to nonprofits or very smaller businesses, okay? And the reason why you want to go for this microloan is that the lender for those microloans are usually different. Okay, you have nonprofits, you have the CDFI, so the community development financial institutions. Those are different than banks and credit unions, your traditional banks and credit unions. So you're more likely to be approved there. Same thing for equipment financing. Okay, that means that you're financing equipment. So you're not really, even if you have no income, the lender is looking at the equipment as collateral for you to get the loan that you are asking for. Same thing for invoice financing and invoice factoring. Those are two revenue-based financing types, which means that if you have no income but you are generating sales, you can still. By the way, income is different from revenue, right? Income actually is the difference between revenue and operating expenses. So if you have no income, and you're still generating sales, you can actually get the invoice factoring and invoice financing. And finally, same thing with credit cards. You might get a business credit card even if you have no revenue, no income. So if you're thinking about business funding, no income, you have to understand that this kind of funding, this kind of loans are actually designed for self-employed entrepreneurs, new business owners, time-strapped business operators, companies with non-traditional income sources. Okay, so that's the category I want you to really think about. So that just means that when it comes to loans, you are able to get all kinds of loans depending on your geography, depending on your niche. But the best loans for business funding, no income, include SBA microloan. So that's what I was telling you a little earlier, less than $50,000. Okay. You also have a company called JR Capital. JR Capital specializes in equipment financing. They'll take care of you. They'll give you the money you need for your equipment to actually buy equipment, either used or new. That's really good. You also have another company that I love that I've been following for the last at least 10 plus years. The company is called Headway Capital. And Headway Capital actually will take care of you. They'll take care of you. They'll give you a line of credit, a business line of credit. So you have money that you can tap into every now and then. And the money is sitting there and you can tap into it to actually take care of your operational activities. So this is really good. So the thing is, if you're looking for a business funding, no income, I want you to think about flexibility. I want you to think about options. I want you to think about, let's say, a variety of possibilities. Okay, SBA microloan, JR Capital for equipment financing, Headway Capital for a line of credit. You have other companies. You have also a company called eLease. ELIs, such as ELIs like JR Capital, specializes in equipment financing. Okay, you have a altline, and altline actually specializes in invoice financing, invoice factoring. You also have a Fundbox for a line of credit, and you have American Express business line of credit. So those are a few lenders that will take care of you if if you're looking for a business funding, no income. So if you are looking for a business funding, no income, let me give you a few hacks to actually help you get your money real fast. Okay. Now the first thing you want to do, and this is really important, if you have some assets, if you have some assets, if you have some if you have some collateral to actually offer, I would say go ahead and offer that collateral. Okay, the reason is that if you have no income but you're willing to collateralize the loan, you're willing to pledge some kind of assets, the lender will see you as less risky, because when you have no income and you're looking for a business funding, the lender is automatically thinking about the risk. You know, what's the risk of default? What's actually what's the probability that this business owner will repay me, right? But if you offer collateral, the lender knows, hey, listen, the risk sort of goes away. At least 80% of it will go away. Why? Because the lender knows if you don't pay, they can seize the asset and repo. They can repo the assets and sell it at least to recoup full or partially their investments, their loan investments. Okay, so when you offer collateral, you are reducing the risk vis-a-vis the lender, and that's really good. That can help you actually get your business funding, no income, approved. That's number one. Number two, you want to consider adding a cosigner. So the thing is, a cosigner is kind of cool because it really alleviates the burden on you as a primary signer, right? But just remember two things here. I want to remember two things. Number one, you have to use a cosigner that actually has a good credit score, or let's just say a cosigner that has a better financial profile, because you do not want to use a cosigner that has a financial profile worse than yours. Okay, that's number one. When I say financial profile, I'm speaking about their income, their company's income, their credit score, all that kind of stuff. Okay, that's number one. Number two, you need to make sure the cosigner understands his or her responsibility. So in case you default on the loan, the lender is actually going to come after the cosigner. So explain that to the cosigner pretty openly. So if you're thinking about business funding, no income, you also want to pay attention to the lender's requirements. Every lender has a separate requirements depending on the loan program that they're actually lending in. Okay, so if you have a clear idea about the lender's requirement, you can actually create a profile. You can actually come up with paperwork that actually fits those requirements. I'm not asking you to fudge numbers. I'm not asking you to fudge anything. I'm not asking you to lie on a loan application. No, you always want to tell the truth on your loan application, or anything for that matter. Okay, you want to tell the truth. Be as straightforward as possible. If you have to be approved, you will be approved no matter what. Okay, no matter how bad you think your profile is. So number one, you have to know the lender's requirements, and number two, if you think for any reason you cannot actually you cannot fulfill those, you cannot meet those requirements, give them a call. Give the company a call and have a conversation. Say, listen, I'm looking for business funding, no income, and this is my situation, and I think I can qualify, but I wanted to first give you guys a call, right? So give a courtesy call to sort of iron out some details. You know, if there are some kinks in your approval, in your paperwork, at least you discuss it, okay? And also, you want to determine whether you will be able to repay. If you think about business funding, no income, my question is, for after you get the business funding, after you get the business funds, after you get the loan, after you get the line of credit, how would you find the money to actually repay if you are generating no income? This is a pretty valid question, okay? And this is a question that you have to ask yourself before actually applying for business funding no income, because the lender is going to ask you. I mean, the underwriters are going to ask as they go through the process of reviewing your your paperwork. So you have to you do yourself a favor and answer that question before the lender asks you to. So when you think about business funding, no income, let me give you some extras here. I want to talk about the pros and cons of this type of funding. Okay, I want to first about the pros. I want to first talk about the pros, and then I'll speak about the cons. Okay. So when I say pros and cons here, I'm talking about your ability to actually explain like everything on your application. So if you think about this type of loans, getting even a small amount of by the way, now I'm talking about the advantages, okay? The advantages. So getting even the a small loan of startup capital, or let's say a business funding no income in general, can help your business off the ground, sustain and grow, right? You want to have that sort of extra liquidity to be able to sustain your business in terms of a hardship. And so business funding no income, unlike forms of equity financing, allow you to keep full ownership and control of your business. That's really good. And paying off a business loan can establish business credit, which can help you get more competitive business financing in the future. So you get more business financing, you have, I would say, more competitive. So that's for the pros. What about the cons? Well, business funding no income is considered risky, especially without any type of revenue. So this kind of funding often comes with higher rates and fees, making it an expensive form of financing. Second thing is that due to the risk, this kind of funding often requires a collateral or personal guarantee. So really, you have to see what works for your specific situation and what kind of practices lenders are used to in your industry. So if you're looking for a business funding, no income, the question is, what are the instances you might want to consider this type of funding? Okay, so when does it make sense, and when does it not make sense? So when does it make sense to actually get business funding, no income? Well, if you are looking to grow your business, right? If you're looking to actually seize opportunities, if you're looking to seize opportunities when it comes to new contracts, when it comes to discounts, when it comes to discounts on wholesale orders, when it comes to other types of opportunities in terms of expansion, this capital injection actually can really help you big time, okay? Can actually get your company out of the startup phase and start generating real revenue. For example, okay. The second instance where you might want to consider getting a business funding no income is if you're filling cash flow gaps. So this is invoice financing and factoring, for example, can make sense to cover cash flow gaps if you are regularly waiting to get paid, right? And this type of financing works well for B2B businesses that work on a contract basis. And also, if you want to retain ownership of your business, basically, equity financing is a common way to finance a business with no money. However, it means trading ownership stakes and possible control in your company. So if retaining full ownership is important to you, so business funding no income is the best way to go. So those are the top three scenarios where getting a business loan with no income makes sense. Now, when should you skip business funding no income? Because there are instances where also this type of financing is not really the best strategy. So if you don't have a strong revenue model, let's say if your business is pre-revenue, your lender will want to understand how you're going to make money. Make sure you're clear on your business revenue model and that you are able to demonstrate it before applying for funding. Another scenario is if you cannot afford the loan payments, make sure you understand the monthly loan payments and how they will fit into your business budget. If you take on too much debt and get behind on payments, you could wind up in a cycle of debt and potentially even lose your business. So something to really think about. And if you can afford to wait, so business loans with no money pose additional risks to lenders, making them more expensive than traditional loans. So if your business can afford to wait until it's bringing in strong revenue, you may be able to save a lot of money on interest, for example. So if you are trying to have a business funding, no income, just remember that there are some alternatives, okay, in terms of possibilities, okay, what really works for you. For instance, you can try equity financing, or you can try crowdfunding, or you can even try business grants. Let me talk to you about the third one first. So when you think about business grants, you have to understand that it's all about meeting the eligibility requirements. Okay, so more established businesses with no revenue might try to qualify for a small business grants. One thing for sure, not every business will meet eligibility requirements, and competition can be fierce for this free money. But funding is still available, so you still have funding available, and this is good for the most courageous in the industry. So besides the business grants, you also have crowdfunding. So if you just launched your business, you might consider crowdfunding. So that means crowdfunding is better for startups. So the cool thing is that crowdfunding is another zero debt financing option that lets others invest in your idea. Not only can it help you raise capital for your business, but it also may be a way to raise awareness of your products and services. And finally, you have equity financing. So if you don't like business funding, no income, think about equity financing. I mean, this strategy can be used to raise funds through the sale of shares or a stake in your business. So this may be an option if you are unable to find startup business loans with no revenue, for instance. So although you won't incur like loan debt with this type of financing, investors who have purchased the stock will receive an ownership share in your business. So something to really think about, especially if you are going to do things over the long run. You better have a backup strategy. Otherwise, you'll be really suffering and suffering. So in conclusion, in today's conversation, I spoke to you about business funding, no income. I gave you the overview, the loans, the hacks, the extras, and now the conclusion. Thank you so much. God bless you. I'll see you next time. Until then, remember, stay marvelous.